Many thanks for staying with KBC Channel 1. You are watching BizCheck and we are now in the second hour of the program. My name is Betty Kiptum. Remember, you can interact with us online. We are at KBC Channel 1 on Twitter and on Facebook. And my personal Twitter handle is at Betty Kiptum. Do tell us your views, your thoughts on the conversations during the program. I shall be sure to sample some of your views. Now, we want to talk about matters savings and investment. Well, I don't know if you're keeping up with your investment goals that you wrote down at the beginning of the year, but just to help you on that journey, we want to have that conversation, look at the investment options and also what risks you should take depending on where you are financially. To have this conversation is Dominic Mburu. He is the Director of Home Point Investments Limited. Thank you for joining us, Dominic.
Thank you for having me.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
So just give us an overview of what investment options are there for Kenyans.
Thank you so much. I think it's always a good time to invest. Someone said that the best time to invest is 20 years ago, and the other next best time is now. And I think it's good to have this conversation because investment is an aspect of thinking about the future. And I think I'll come from the perspective of what I do, because we are at Home Point Investment Limited. We do real estate investments, especially on vacant land. And it's one of the frontier that is easy to access, especially when you deal with companies, because companies give you an opportunity. You can maybe not have money in one place. You can pay in installments. And you know, most of the time when you, for example, today you see a property and you think, let me go and save the money, come with cash. Maybe I'll take a year and then I'll have the cash and then I come back and buy. By the time you come, the property maybe you saw at 1 million. You come with 1 million 1 year later, it is at 1.5. But what company does, they allow you to, you'll be able to lock the offer at the price you find it at. Then now you can, instead of now going to save somewhere else, you'll be saving as the property, the price or the value goes up, but you have the purchase price will remain the same. So as Home Point Investments, that's what we do. And it's one of the best frontier in terms of also, because when you look at housing, because you can also buy ready houses, but sometimes they are very capital intensive. But land, you're able to buy at your pace. You can build at your pace. You get little money, you build at your pace. So one of the things that I can say is very important and has helped in investments, because as long as you buy something that is genuine, especially land, you can never get it wrong. They are always hiking, and land is the only thing that you can buy today and tomorrow you sell at a higher price. When you buy a car today, which is also something you can invest in the next 1 month, it will have depreciated. In fact, it depreciates immediately. It comes out of the showroom. Immediately you leave a showroom, it has started depreciating. Land, on the other hand, which is one of the best investment, and in fact, of all the investment that you talk about, land, other than the fact that it is also capital intensive, it's able to lock your investments and appreciate over time. The only downside maybe to it is that maybe you may need money today, but you're not able to liquidate it at the moment, because it's about getting customer and someone who is willing to buy where you are selling. So sometimes people who want maybe money, to get money immediately to solve an emergency is not the best. However, it's an enabler to access maybe to credit. Sometimes you don't even have to sell anything. You can take your title, go to a financial institution, then you'll be given money that now you can use to solve your issue, and then later as you pay, your land remain intact, it's still hiking in terms of value, but at the same time you have reserved it and you have been able to solve your emergency. So that's why it is able to solve it, solve the two sides, that you can retain it and still enables you to be able to make other investments outside it. There are people who maybe feel, I have some 1 million, I can buy shares, which is a good investment. But you realize the day you need that money, you'll have to liquidate the shares, and then you'll have nothing. But if you have land, the title deed, you can go to any financial institution, you get money worth your title, you go and you are given time to pay over time, and at the same time, by the time you finish paying, the value of the property you had has hiked. So that's why as a home point investment, you help people to invest in land.
Okay.
But I would want only to talk about land only. There are other means of investing, because there are things like shares, there are things like stocks, there are government bonds that people can buy. There are also high risk, high return investments. For example, you can go and take a loan and buy a matatu, public transport, a vehicle or Uber. It gives you money. From the day you start using it, you start making money. The only issue is in 1 week it can disappear. One day you may have an accident and it's all gone. So, but it's high risk but also high return, because in 1 year, maybe that car has bought another car, if you're able to do the business running.
Okay.
But there are also others. For example, there are policies. There are insurance policies that people buy that has an essence of life insurance at the same time an investment. But that I mean, today you may have some money. Maybe I don't have 1 million to buy land or to buy stock, but I have 20,000. I know every month I'm getting 20,000. Some people will think, let me put it in a saving account. But for me, I have found the best option. There is an insurance. There are insurance stocks you can buy. You can buy policies. You can invest in the money market. But what you do is, especially for policy, you are able to buy today, and it has an attachment with a life cover. But that means that if anything happens to you tomorrow, the contract that you had, for example, I was saving 20,000, and in 10 years I was to be paid 2 million. If I pay one installment and I die tomorrow, the company will pay my beneficiary the 2 million, whether I invested or not. So it has covered you, and at the same time, if you outlive it, you'll get your money. Right. If you are not there, because one of the reasons why we invest is about tomorrow, is about our dependent. It's about those people who look up to us, and the things that, sometimes there are people who live a very good life now. But if the breadwinner is not there, the whole family goes down. Okay. So it's good to diversify investments. And as I'm mentioning here, there are many, and I do believe maybe we'll get time to go maybe into a bit them.
Of it.
Yes.
Before we get into the investing bit, of course, you're not investing nothing. You have to have something to invest.
Yes.
Kenya's saving culture is very poor.
Very.
Yeah, it is way below the African average.
Yes.
Including our own neighbors, Uganda and Tanzania.
Right.
What do people need to do to improve their saving culture on a personal level?
I think the first thing is from our education system. I think that's where it should start. Because I think something like entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial skills should be honed from the time a child is very young. If today you are giving pocket money to your child, they need to know that this money is not only that I use it for now. I can put this money somewhere. I can use some, but save some. They're supposed to start at that level, because saving is a culture. It's not something you just pick and start. It's a culture, and you realize in our culture it's not there. We are even in our education system, especially the 844. You are taught you become a grade A student, you go and get your job, and you'll have constant salary throughout. So some of us were victims. I don't know whether to use the word victim, but we were trained, excel in education. No one was even thinking about business. I would have fruits in our local village, but when they grow and there are so many, they will not think about, there are people who don't have these things. So I can take some and go and sell, make some money. But what I would do is they will be there, we'll give to people, we'll eat, the rest we just throw away. But if you have entrepreneurial skill, everything you get 1,000, you see this 1,000 is a seed that can give me 2,000 tomorrow, or 1,000 next week, or double in the next 1 month. So it's a skill that is not very automatic. It's supposed to be honed and developed over time. And that's why I think in our syllabus and in our curriculum, that's where it should start, that entrepreneurship is a must. Nowadays, and I'm involved in so many programs where we are training our youth on entrepreneurship, something as we never got. We had to do it the rough way, but nevertheless, it's something that you realize, people, when you speak to people, it opens their mind. They realize that We have this oven in our home. It's just there. But I can make cakes. I'm gifted in this thing. I can bake some cake. I can start selling to my friends, you know. And over time, people start thinking that start realizing that I can start with the little that I have. Because everyone has something, you know. Nowadays, we are living in an era where in the past, if you made jokes in school, you'd be in for punishment. Nowadays, you realize the people who are making money, they are making money out of those jokes.
There you go.
So if you are able to train people that even entrepreneurship, sometimes it's in terms of skills. It's not about the capital in terms of money. Use the skills you have, hone them, and get out there. Nowadays, especially in the age of the digital era, you're able to showcase yourself even from your own house. You don't have to say, I need to be seen by Churchill, or I need to be seen by this person, or I need to be discovered. You can start with your own phone, smartphone. You can speak to the world and showcase your skills and stuff like that. There are people even who today, they draw people and they post them on social media, and the people who see them, they want to give them that work. So it is start small, it start from the beginning. Is a skill that need to be taught in terms of entrepreneurship, both of skills, talents, and the little capital that people have. Yes.
Very important pointers. You just reminded me there when you mentioned people starting where they are.
Yes.
Justin Bieber was a YouTube artist before he was discovered,
right,
you know, and became the big name that he is.
Yes.
Right. So of course, using what you have to create, you know, something for yourself.
Start somewhere.
So now, when you're deciding on what investment to go for, what do you need to consider?
A wise man once said that information is power, and also I think information is money. Because the most important thing is to know, because there are a wide array of investments that you can make. Today, you get a child, and you realize you just delivered a child. You know very well that in the next 10 years, this child will be in school. And today, maybe you are more agile. And you know, we can say you can be able to hustle in several things, that today I can start thinking about the schooling and the school fees of this child now. And that's why you find, for example, there are education policies which a parent will want their children to go to the best school, but they will not start thinking when this child is born. So you realize people who get the information, for example, you'll think, let me buy an education policy, I'll be saving 10,000 per month or 20,000. Today I can hustle here, throw this money here, I can buy money markets. I'm able to do that now, so that in the next 10 years, you realize from there, my kids' school fees is taken care of for the rest of their lives. You know? And another thing, I can buy a plot today. There are plots even up to 150,000 or 100,000. I can buy that and leave it there. I don't even have to do anything. Stay with my title. In the next 20 years, it will not be the same price. So the whole issue here is the aspect of knowledge, seeking knowledge. And this knowledge is out there. People nowadays, as you said, Kenya, we have a very poor saving culture. But funny enough, it's going hand in hand with our ignorance. Because in terms of people rarely read. You know, they watch things. Everyone is now into comedy and stuff like that, which are good. But I think they're supposed to be there during your free time. This information is out there. You read stuff. You talk. You have mentors who can guide you that this is what you can do. And also you understand, me, Nikona, I have 500,000. What can I do with 500,000 that will give me money? Because it's good to know which investment to go where based on what you have. I have been given pocket money. There are even people, when we are in campus, there are people who used to get their help. And when they get the loan, some of the people will, because maybe the parent will pay the rest, they eat the money. But there are people who you are very entrepreneur, they realize all these people need to take breakfast. So they will order those cakes and yogurt and whatever, and you guys are flocking into their small shops, and they made a lot of money at the expense of the other students who are thinking of living today. Because the issue of saving and investment is about thinking about tomorrow. I realize our youth are saying you only live once, so everything they get is about having fun today because tomorrow they don't know. But one thing that is exception is about thinking about tomorrow. So information and knowledge is very important, because knowledge, they usually say knowledge is the information, understanding is comprehending the information you have been given, and wisdom now is the application Yeah, so you need to have knowledge, you need to have understanding of the knowledge you have, because there's so much knowledge out there. You need to go and sit down, understand these concepts, and now know this is where I best apply. And that's now the wisdom in terms of investment. Yes.
Wisdom in terms of investment, and it's something that you have to keep seeking every day.
You have to.
Right. So now let's get to the nitty-gritties of the investment.
Yes.
Assuming someone wants to purchase land.
Yes.
What do they need to consider, and how can they especially protect themselves from con men and con women?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the first thing first is understanding what you have. For example, if you have 200,000, 300,000, and you are in Nairobi city center looking for property to purchase, I would say you are daydreaming. It's good also to understand the scope. First of all, understand this is my budget. So therefore, my budget guides me to where I'm going. For example, yes, you may also say that I have 200,000 today, but I'm expecting to get some other 1 million in the next several days. So the scope of what you can get in terms of capital would guide me in terms of where I will purchase. The next thing is, if you have that, then there are the procedures, because the issue that some people like investing, but they are not very diligent in terms of putting in the checks and doing their due diligence to know where I'm investing, because there are people who wake up every day targeting your money. It may be in your bank, it may be in your pocket, lakini hiyo ndo imepangiwa. So what you need to do is, once you identify this is my budget, I have found people who are selling this money, this amount of the cost of buying this land is at this or almost there, then take the first step. Go to, for example, if it's an office, a company that is selling, or is an individual, the most important thing is, first of all, meeting with them. If it's a company, it need to have it's not supposed to be a briefcase. It's supposed to find a physical location of this business. How long has it been operational? Are they registered? Is it a company that has a certificate of incorporation? Do they have the license to operate from the county government of that area? Then once you see that, go to the ground. See exactly what is being sold. So site visits are very important. Land is not something you just buy online, like they deliver with the means of delivery.
Yes.
You need to go to the ground, survey the area, look at the map. For example, if there are many plots, choose one, the one that you feel it's fitting what you need. Because in every, for example, I may be thinking about commercial land. Then you find you are buying it near the river. You have lost it.
Yes.
So you need to know, for example, I want to do farming. So what do you check for? I need water. Is the area feasible for farming? I need to buy residential. I want to stay here. Do I have access? How are the roads? How is the security? Because there's even sometimes you may find a very good deal, but there's the reason why they are selling that way. Maybe the owner ran away because they couldn't sleep or chased away. So security is another thing. I have children. They need to go to school. Are there accessible schools and public facilities and amenities? Find out from the ground all those things. And when you are there, don't be in a rush. They are neighbors, because I don't believe you are buying in a desert. Want to find out from the locals. They'll tell you. Some of the issues people miss even when they are doing due diligence, because they take the title, go and do a search, but they'll miss some things. Because some of these issues come up after you have bought or you're in the process of buying. So, but the neighbors will know, those brothers, they have issues. They have not come out, but these issues are there. There are angles, they may not be reported. When you do a search, it will come out, but there are things that are simmering below the scene. Yeah? So talk to the neighbors, find out especially the history of the land, also find out about the way they live there, the security and other things that you may need. There are people who tell you, this road is being built, maybe it's not yet tarmacked. Want to find, the neighbors will know if it's being tarmacked in the near future. Have they heard about it? Because a company in Nairobi cannot know about more information than people who live in a certain place. Yeah. So find out from the ground. And now when you live there and you are satisfied, you have checked the dimension of something you are buying, now go and take the title, go and do a search. And when you are at it, buy what you call the RIM, the map. That is the indexing map of an area, which shows that plot. Is it registered in the surveys of Kenya? Is it captured? Okay. Because there are people who are taken to the ground. They see a very nice place. Lakini, the truth of the matter is the land they are buying is not that one. It may be the neighbor, lakini the way it is, the topography is not so good. Yeah. So you are not shown that one.
Okay.
You are shown a different one. You like it. Because they know if they showed you the real one, you will not buy. So once you buy is the time you realize, I saw this one, but my plot was not this one, it's another one. The other one, yeah. So it's good you buy the map. It will be able to place your plot in regard in relation to the ground. You'll be able to tell this is exactly how I saw it. Once you buy that and you have the search, now you can go and do the deposit, and from there start the issue of the title transfer, and then from there you can clear the payment and do the rest. And then once you get the title, even if it's in your name, go back to registry
and confirm.
Do a search
that
again.
It's actually in your name.
Yes, that it was actually registered.
Yeah.
Kenyans are very also industrious. They can go and print some things. So go and to the registry again on your own. Go and do those search and find whether the land was actually, the green card captured that. Yes.
While we are in this conversation, I would like to hear from you your thought about investing when you're, say, in the diaspora.
Okay.
When you're in Kenya, you have the luxury, so to say,
yes,
of going physically there.
Yes.
If you're in the diaspora, you're seeking to invest in land in Kenya, and we have had stories.
Yes.
You know, people have invested in their brains, but when they come, there's nothing.
Yes.
Through family and all that. What is the best way to go about it, and maybe what are the red flags that they need to look out for?
For example, in Home Point Investment Limited, our biggest clientele are diaspora clients.
Okay.
And in this digital era, in fact, most of the people who are out there have more information about land that is being sold here. You realize they are the one who are telling their parents or their relatives, I have seen this and this. You know, they are mostly online. So they are able to see some of these things. We have the meta technology that is coming up, which I do believe in the near future, you'll be able to go for site visit without going physically. And it's an area that we are waiting for as it progresses. But how we have been doing it is, one, we go live. During site visit, we know as we take others, you may not be near. There are people, first of all, who trust their family. You have no problem with trusting someone. Send them. Let them do everything if you trust them. Okay. And it needs to be someone who you fully believe that they have your interest at heart. Because sometimes you even find you send someone who is not, first of all, they are not themselves the investor. So you tell them about land, they are not interested, they go to the ground and they're just feeling I wouldn't buy. Because sincerely they wouldn't. Otherwise, even themselves, they had money, they wouldn't buy. So you may send someone who is not an investment-oriented person. They will tell you very bad things. They tell you went for an hour. For them, an hour is end of the world. Oh,
it's a long time.
It's a very long time. They will just tell you, it's too far. You know, so there are people who send their families, but over time, people have grown to distrust their families. There are a lot of issues that are coming up. You send your, even parents, sometimes, you send your sister. Once they come and see, we have had people who sent their relatives, they came and viewed, they send money to them to pay. They didn't. Yeah. But they tell them they are finished. They just even tell them how to have to pay title. They are not giving us titles. But actually they didn't buy. Some of them will even come and do a 10,000 deposit and disappear. Yet they got the money. Only for someone to come on holiday and come to your office breathing fire, that where is my land? And you don't even know, because this person, yes, they may have come to view, but they didn't do anything. They even took some photos when they are on the site visit, only to realize they didn't buy. So over time, even people rather deal with people I don't know than my own family. So there are people who use family or friends. Others will trust the company, just do a live for me. We go to the ground. If you are showing me that this is plot number 14 that I need to buy, do a live for me. We have drone shots and stuff like that. You'll be able to view. They will tell you, let me see the neighborhood when you're on the ground. And of course, the other customers are there. Yeah. And then from there, they are able. And of course, with a track record, we have been in this business for 6 years and of delivery. So over time, there are even people who are return customers who will invest anytime. They even tell you, once you open a new phase, just give me a commercial one. And they pay. And over time, we send them titles. Sometimes we even have meet and greet. We take their titles wherever they are. In the Middle East, in the US, we take them the titles. And then from there, you are able to build a trust, a journey, but that comes from a journey of working with them.
Now, Dominic,
Yes.
the industry has not been without its ills. There have been companies that have taken people's money,
Yes.
promised heaven and earth, and delivered nothing.
Yes.
People have lost life savings,
Yes.
you know, to the industry, to some industry players. What is being done to ensure that things are right, so to say?
I think sometimes the necessity is the mother of all inventions. And I think the problem that has been there is affect even the people who are doing genuine business. And one thing we have realized is that unless we work together in this industry, because most of these companies, people will come and have a fiasco somewhere, do fraudulent deals, and when things start getting heated, because the government will chase the company, but someone will close that company, start a new one, and they are trading again. And you see, they have capital. They even market more than the people who are existing and doing clean business. So, as stakeholders in this industry, we have started an association called the Association of Real Estate Stakeholders, where we want to start with self-regulation. We know we can help the government because these people, we know them. And what we are doing is we are bringing everyone to the fold, because in the past we have been competitors. But now we realize that issues happen when good people keep quiet. You know, you say that's their problem. That company is their own problem. Let them handle it. But you realize you are also affected because this industry runs on trust. It's not like when you are buying a phone, because when you buy a phone, it's over the counter. You pay me, I give you the phone, we are done. In the real estate industry, whether I'm selling houses or plots, I also depend on the government. So even issues of timeline are also dependent by other factor. So I come and sell to a client today, and once I sell, I have to take the documents to the government to process the titles. But in the process, the issue of timeline, you are not able to guarantee 100%. Because sometimes you find the land control board has been disbanded, so that time there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, the registrar is swamped. Another time you hear they are going digital, so there is a disaster they are doing, and therefore things have stalled. And sometimes the clients will be in uproar, but they don't understand behind the scene because I could not finish on the counter. So sometimes it takes time. But the point is, the people who are doing fraud, we know them. So what happened is we have decided to come together as genuine land selling companies and housing companies and developers. We help the government. One, we say we need regulation. And the regulation, the people who knows the problem we are going through is us. So how can we work together with the lawmakers to come up with the regulation and the bill and regulation that can be able to regulate us? Because as much as we want to continue doing business, we cannot allow a few rogue elements to come and destroy the industry. It is, as you know, it's the second biggest contributor of our GDP in this country, the real estate industry. We take over 40% of diaspora remittances in this country. And this is things that spur the economy of our country. So we have said that we are coming together, and we have already started that journey. We are vetting companies, those who are in our association, so that in the future, even when a client goes to buy something, they will first of all ask, you know, the way the Law Society does their thing. You come and ask, are you a member? Because people who are trying to hide, they don't want to be, they don't want anyone to get in their business. They are hiding something. We want to come together, do our own vetting, and then have members who we can hold accountable. And even before anything spill out, we are there telling the government, this company is doing some shady things. So we are the even people who the whistleblower. We are the one who will be the whistleblower. But of course, we also do a lot of mentorship. The people who have been in the industry for years. Some of the people get in trouble because of lack of knowledge. So we have mentors who have been in the industry for long. We are coming together to mentor the newcomers also in the industry.
Mentorship and self-regulation, that is what Dominic is saying here the industry is doing. We want to take a quick break. When we come back, this conversation continues. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with KBC Channel 1. You are watching BizCheck and my name is Betty Kiptum. In studio, we are having a conversation about savings and investments. To be specific, we were just talking about investing in land and property, real estate to be precise. And this conversation, I'm having it with Dominic Mburu. He is the Director of Home Point Investments Limited. Dominic, thank you for staying with us.
Thank you.
Before we went on that break, you were talking about how important mentorship is for entrance in the industry.
Right.
Go ahead.
Sometimes, like any other business, people run into hiccups here and there, and there are also newcomers also in the real estate industry, but there are challenges also in the industry. So what sometimes they lack is the mentorship, because you find a new company run into some financial issues, capital issues, and maybe they have not built even proper credit for the deposits. So they are not even able to have access to capital and stuff like that. They also don't know how to jump the loop and the hoops in the industry. So we have realized, we have been here, and like any other industry, instead of we don't have to be competitors. The housing and shelter is a basic need. So it's not like it's running out. The only challenge is we know very well that land, they don't make them anymore. So once land is sold somewhere, it's gone.
Yeah.
You miss a plot today here, when it's sold, it's gone. But vehicles they are making. So if you miss the brand today, you buy the next one, maybe even better.
Better, yeah.
Yeah. So other than the fact that land, of course, you can still buy, but you buy more expensive price. We are saying that we want the people who have been there in the industry. They can hold the newcomers' hand and show them how to deliver. Because this is a need that we are solving. We are very important. I've told you the role we play in this industry and also in the economy. So therefore, because of that, then we need to mentor these people. Because even people sometimes who get into problems and who are not able to deliver, it's not by design. Sometimes it's because they didn't know how to run the industry. But unfortunately, you make these mistakes when you have 100 clients. It's not like you are selling in a hardware where you just sold to those people and they are gone. These are people who you have not delivered, for example. So whether it's a genuine mistake or it's a genuine problem, it is affecting other people. And that's why in real estate industry, it is blown out. Because you are not only alone. You are not going through problems alone. When you go through that problem, it affects the people you bought land from and the one you have sold to. So it gets magnified. And what we are saying is that we need mentorship. So we are coming together, the one who have been longer in the industry and the newcomers who are there, and then we can grow together to deliver to our people. Yes.
Coming together to deliver to the people, very important.
Yes.
Of course, the government has been focusing on affordable housing and ensuring that more Kenyans are accessing homes.
Right.
The what is it called? The gap that exists for home ownership in Kenya, or at least shelter for that matter, is about 200,000 annually, you know. So what is the private sector which you're in doing to support this vision, to ensure that more people are accessing homes?
Actually, we are complementing. Before the government thought about affordable housing, we have been doing it over time. For us, because we are many, and I was even wishing the government, we have been trying to find ways in which we can work together. Because today, if a government wants to acquire land to build affordable housing, first of all, anyone who hears that the government is buying land, immediately everything hikes. So it becomes very expensive even for them to be able to bring up those houses. But for us, for example, we have land, which we bought as companies, as individuals. But when it comes to building houses, there is sometimes where you sell them as vacant. It's because the cost of coming up constructing houses is too high, developing them. So you realize that some of the places you are selling, there is no public facilities, infrastructure is very poor. So if, for example, today I'm to build houses, you have found some developers having to build roads from where the government roads are all the way to their estates. They have to, that one they will put factor into the pricing. They have to do drainage. They have to do sewerage systems. They have to do lighting. So you can imagine if the government, because it has ability to build roads, that's their work. They have ability to distribute electricity. as a government project. They have ability to connect people to sewerage systems. If they are able to do, for example, they come and we partner with them, we say you as a developer, so that we have these subsidized houses, you build houses. Yeah, but what we are going to offer you is some tax break here and there on materials. We'll also build this road for you. We'll do the sewerage. You build houses, but we have given you the maximum you can sell this land because we have covered the cost, some cost for you. Then you can even be able to sell houses at 999,000 Kenyan shillings. Below $1 million, you can have some bungalows you build and you sell to people, and the people can afford that. You know, because even if today you are selling and people are buying land, the government is selling some affordable housing at 2 million. Not so many Kenyans will afford it. But because even with them, they had to buy land very expensively. But for us, we are able to, we have access to very cheap, low material in our localities. We are even able to go now because of devolution. We don't have to, government is building in Nairobi and major towns. What about people who are living in Thika? What about people who are living in Matu? We can complement them. The government can have their side, they are building. We are also, they are complementing us and enabling us to build from our end. And that way we'll be able to achieve the targeted numbers of houses together, because the government will always fall short of the numbers that are necessary. There are even people, not only in Kenya, who need houses, even people in diaspora. They want to come back home and have a place to stay. Yeah. So the issue is the cost of building up, bringing up those houses. Because if I build the road, I have to factor that money. I'm in business. I need some profit. I need also to meet my obligation, financial obligation. So therefore, I will require to factor the cost I put in of sewerage, writing, the roads and everything into my cost of selling the house. But if the government is able to do that with us, I do believe we will deliver. They will be able even themselves to deliver within a very short period of time the needed quota of houses that they want to deliver to Kenyans. Yes.
Is land overpriced in Kenya?
Not really. I wouldn't think so, because you know every commodity is driven by demand and supply. So as I said from the beginning, land, you know, they don't build anymore. There is no new land coming up. So it is what is there. It's not a renewable resource. I buy today. If I, for example, I buy 100,000. If you come back, I'll sell. I'll sell to you at 150. If you even sit there and sell to the next person walking by, you sell at 200, and therefore generally to drive up the price, you know, based on demand. So I do believe that there was a time, yes, there was a very sharp hike, especially. But unfortunately, everything that is sold has also a ceiling. For example, there are, especially in urban areas, like come here in the city of Nairobi, there are some land, the cost of land last year and this year is the same. Okay. Because it reached its ceiling, it has stagnated. Now, even if it goes up, it's in decimals. There are places out there in the counties where land is shooting. Even if you buy at 100,000, you can sell 200 in the next 3 months. You know? Unfortunately, you know, Kenyans will say that I want to buy in Nairobi, so they wait for years to buy in their town. But they realize you may buy today and wait for that land to hike. It may take some time because of also the level it had grown to. Okay. You know, it has its ceilings. Okay. So that's why we are even encouraging. Sometimes get out of town. Okay. Go and buy out there that chunk of land, leave it there. It has a higher proportion of growth than even in very developed area. And they usually say buy and wait. Don't wait to buy. Okay. So I don't think it's overpriced. It's driven by demand and the supply. And because it's a non-renewable resource, I think it will even get higher. It's not a bubble. Yeah. So it still keep going up. It will keep going up. So you're saying the counties are the next frontier? They are, and they have been for the last, I think, 10 years. Yes. Right. So for Kenyans who are considering this kind of investments, what would be your message to them as they go out there looking? Say that again. What is your message to the Kenyans who are maybe considering, so they have different investment opportunities. Yes. They have money, they want to invest. Why go for the land or real estate? I would say this. If for any person or you consider to be wealthy, because land is a sure way of getting wealthy, because you may get some money, you may get liquidity, but if you do research on anyone who is considered wealthy, most of their wealth is in land, is in real estate generally. It tells you the mental disposition of that youth. They will tell you that this is a person, even if they have not made it, they are heading somewhere. Because this is a person who is thinking more about tomorrow than today. Because for you buying land, it's not something that tomorrow, or your friend will find you, you know, they are like seeing you because you don't walk around with titles, the way you walk maybe with a car, because the pressure is on. You find you get your million, you want also to appear, you also mtu anajitambua. So you also want to buy your own car, and that one people will give you accolade because they can see you. Now, when someone takes that million and buy land and still continue walking on foot, this is a person who is very long-sighted, is a visionary. So the reason why we encourage, in fact, we have been targeting our youths. We have land of even up to 150,000, 180,000, 200,000, and our target is the youth because we want to start from the beginning, putting in them the saving and the entrepreneurial space. You tell them to put money somewhere in their account, they go and withdraw and use. So why don't you take this money, buy a plot? You know, a plot is not something you take tomorrow. So they will be, one day maybe they don't have the money, but the investment remain there. If they had money in the account, they'll go and remove it. You know, the pressure will get real and they have to liquidate whatever they had. But when they buy land, that's an investment that is solid and also shows them, you know, when you have title issuing ceremony, you see a youth, some of them are 20 years holding a title, they feel, I thought land is for our parents. I have bought this, it's mine. Then there's nothing I cannot be able to do. So it changes their mentality and their culture of spending, which has been a problem in our country, especially from that young age. So real estate is one of the frontier that also help the government in so many other things in terms of changing the mentality of Kenyans, in terms of saving. And also it's something that you don't have to do anything to. You know, anything, if you buy a car, even if you keep it at home, it will depreciate.
Yes.
You have to do service.
Yes.
Land, you buy it, you leave it. You may go and just plant some few trees there and leave. It grows on its own. So this is something that offhand, it grows in terms of investment. You may be in school, but your land is still there, still appreciating. You may be very busy. There are people who are in Nairobi, they work 8 to 5, they have no breaks. You can buy land and it's still growing on its own. You try to buy, you know, there's someone who was telling me he went, took a loan, bought some tippers, some lorries, and gave her brother, and they were doing the business there. But by the time she was finishing paying for the loan, there was nothing to show for it. She used all her salary to pay for the loan. The car, the lorry was worn out, and got nothing, you know. And the stress of being caught in the middle of the night because they have been arrested, there is an accident here. Land give you a peace of mind. You buy that thing, you buy that house, and then you give people and they rent. They rent out, and then you are making money without being there, without your presence. So it's a sure way of investment, and we encourage as many people, even if you have other kind of investment, do that as you also invest in land. Yes.
Diversification, as you said.
Yes.
As a player in the industry, what would you call upon the government to do in terms of the policy and the regulatory framework? What more can they do to support the industry?
I think the most important thing in terms of is in terms of incentives, because if you realize that in the industry, as much as it seems like it has a lot of money, it is one of the heavily taxed industry. You know, you pay the withholding tax at 30%. Nowadays, the capital gain has gone all the way to 15% from 5%. You have to pay stamp duty. So we are paying everywhere, you know. So one of the things that has happened is because of all that, then the properties, you know, you factor all this into the cost of buying properties. And because we realize that this is a basic need, is in the agenda of the government for affordable housing, I think they should be more complementary in how we work together, and also giving some tax break here and there for a bigger good of delivering to the people of Kenya. But also in terms of the regulatory framework, we need the government, because there is a picture that is out there, and I think when some people think about real estate, they think we are deposit taking. And that's why some people will say that you go and deposit 500 million somewhere in our account. If you don't deliver, people are compensated. We are not deposit taking. In fact, as what we do, we give people our land, they pay slowly by slowly. In fact, they are the one who who have a property, and then they pay gradually. Not the other way around. People don't come and put money in your account waiting for the day you sell them land. They see first, start paying small. So that if the equilibrium is disturbed, the people who suffer most are the land sellers. This one is not said enough. Because someone has paid 80% of it, of almost 60% of the land they have been buying over a period of time. And because of they were paying in installment and they had locked that plot, so you may realize you have sold a whole project, people have paid 20%. So meaning, because you need to go to another project as they pay this one, you have to go to a bank and take a loan so that they pay as you continue this project. Now when there is an issue and your clients come when they are paid 60% and they are asking for their money back. You know, maybe you are a developer, you have built, the houses are halfway, and they're asking back for their money. How do you get money to pay them? You know, so that equilibrium need to be very well maintained, and that's why we need regulation in terms of being able to tame these log people. Because whenever there are issues, for example, anytime there is an issue, even us who are doing genuine business, you realize even your own clients, some of them will tell you, I just felt unsafe. I want my money back. Sometimes you are forced to sell your own things to pay people back their money just because they just felt there. And whenever the media maybe is pushing those agendas, they affect our business big time because it is ran on trust. As I told you, it's not like a phone where you sell, you get your receipt, you go home. You
figure the media is not pushing any agenda there.
No, I just hope so.
They're just telling the truth as it is.
But when it's pushed on one side, because as we are delivering, maybe we don't see you when we are offering, we're giving titles. They will not come and feature you in the news. You just take one company that is not maybe delivering, and that's what will be ran for days. So what happened?
But it has to be said, maybe it's time that the industry relooks the business model.
I think the business model, I think in terms of delivery, and there's the government, because if they tell us you'll be delivering titles in a day, in the registry, we'll deliver. You know, and that's why I'm saying it's not an over-the-counter transaction, which you are finishing. I depend on this government, and this government is one that has not delivered my titles. You know, you wait for days, you are there every day. Sometimes there was a time even you go, for example, to Machakos, they have no electricity. A government institution, they have no electricity for a week. So therefore nothing is being done. Even a search. Nowadays to get a search, you take 3 days. To get a normal search of just seeing whether the land is clean. So there are some things that I think the government should try to streamline so that we are able to have smooth transaction in land.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So as we come to a close of the conversation, what would be your closing remarks?
My closing remark is that we want to restore confidence in investors, both in Kenya and also in diaspora. And we also want to be a voice, not only for the people who are investors, but also for genuine land companies that are transacting good business, who have fulfilled the dream of many people. Sometimes we are the people who are the carrier of this bottom-up and hustlers' dream, because we are there dealing with Mama Mboga, dealing with the piki people, the boda people. They are there bringing, maybe they took land and they are paying daily. You know, this is not something that could have been done in any other way. So we are there to complement the government, not to compete with it. And when you work together, because we know each other, we can be able to sanitize this industry and deliver to the people. So one thing I want to say to all of us, all those people who are watching us and people who maybe have some misgiving and reservation about investments, we are there, and we have formed an association which you can be able to know that this company that I'm investing in, they have not only are they running independently, they have oversight in terms of other players in the industry, and over time we are working with the government to come up with proper regulatory framework where everyone is held accountable, you know, and there are also mitigation measures in terms of if one company does the wrong thing in terms of delivering to their clients, we are there to hold them accountable and also to be the whistleblower for some of these things. So we need to restore the confidence in their people so that they can continue to invest without worries whether they're in Kenya or outside Kenya, and we are there to do that for them.
Thank you very much for speaking with us, Dominic.
Thank you.
I have been speaking with Dominic Mburu. He's a director at Home Point Investments. He says that the real estate industry is an industry that is dependent on trust, and they are working tirelessly within the industry itself to ensure self-regulation and weed out the rogue elements within that particular industry to ensure that your investments are safe. Well, this has been BizCheck. My name is Betty Kiptum. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing. Bye-bye.